everyone. I've had a wonderful time putting this little video together, and I hope you enjoy watching it. I'm Madhu Menon. I'm 47 years old. I'm a single mom blessed with my son Nishant and my baby girl Diya. I'm a clinical psychologist and currently working in HR. I'm a published writer. I sing. I love adventure sports. And nature is where I run to when I need peace. And currently, in the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years, I've been racing motorcycles. A lot of people ask me how I got into biking. I think I'll have to give that to my Spanish genes from my great-grandfather's side. I think I was just born with it. When I was about 6 years old, there was a circus in Calcutta that I went to see, and I used to see these huge, metal balls, and these motorcycles would go zooming inside of them. And I used to ask my grandmom, can I do that? And she would say, as long as you don't hurt anybody and you don't hurt yourself, you can do anything that your heart wants to do. By the time I was 7, I was able to get my hands on, that time, the 50cc, 50 kg Luna. And after that, there was no turning back. Throughout my growing years, whenever I got a chance, I grabbed somebody's bike and I went zooping around. And wherever there was these, open spaces safe for anyone to sort of practice, I would find one and catch hold of some of my guy friends, take their bikes, exchange notes, buy petrol, exchange notes, get the bike, and then just keep practicing. In my later teens, it was the RX 100s. Those were my favorites. And I used to have a lot of fun on those bikes. People around me, how did they react? Most of the times, I think it was sheer shock or surprise, sometimes disbelief. People's jaws would just drop down. And there were times I would get warned. There were times I got scolded. And there were times I even got threatened. But I also had people who encouraged me and motivated me a lot because they knew that I love motorcycles, and this was something that was going to be part of my life. In terms of the difficulties that we face in this world of motorcycling, well, I think the main concerns are around safety. Yeah, because when you're at very high speeds or generally on a motorcycle, certain things can go really wrong. So that's what concerns us the most, is being safe. I think other things that trouble us a little bit would be breakdowns. And I think one of the worst things that I've had to experience on bikes is, getting pushed off the road by some guy who thinks that a woman should not be on a motorcycle. So those are the little bit of scary things that we experience. And another difficulty, not very big, but not very small either, is finance. Motorcycles and biking and, this world, it's very expensive. So you need to have a lot of your pocket money and your income, saved up towards the maintenance and fuel and all your gear and stuff like that. In terms of bikers who inspired me, I think one of the bikers that I always was inspired by is my friend Joe. I would credit him with being one of the first people to teach me how to handle geared motorcycles. I've also been part of a lot of touring groups, and in those groups I've met wonderful people as well. In the last 2-3 years, I've been in racing, and I've been very inspired by riders like Rajinikrishnan. He's India's fastest motorcycle racer and 9 times national champion. I've been inspired by people like Aishwarya, Veena Shetty, Vilas, Shalini, and Nelly, who's in motocross and teaches us at BigRock. And of course, now that I'm in racing, I follow a lot of MotoGP. So my god in racing is Rossi. I'm also very fond of Mark, Pedrosa, Joan Mir. I think Dovizioso is also a wonderful rider to watch. Alex Rins, this year he's been fantastic. I also like the Japanese rider Nakagami. And then there's Vinales. In women racers who inspire me, I like to watch and follow Evelyn Biddle Anna, Maria, and the TT champion Jenny. So these are some people who really inspire me in terms of motorcycles and speed. What are my goals in racing? I'm assuming this question was goals in racing. Well, the good news is that my kids, they're going to be leaving for higher studies in a few months, and that obviously gives me a lot more time with my bikes. So some of the things that I want to do in this space is definitely ride through the 29 states and 5 union territories of India. That's something that's high on my list. I want to win a national title. I hope it's this year, but then you never know. I want to qualify someday for a 1000cc event. That's also a big dream that I have. I want to get into stunt biking. I love stunt biking. And I think another thing that I really want to do is master motocross biking. So these are my goals, I hope, for the next 2-3 years, and we'll be working towards that. In terms of how much I've ridden and places that I've ridden in would be, I think most of the southern states. I've covered most of the southern states in India. Internationally, I have ridden only in Bhutan. And the rest of it, it's been dominantly in southern India. Achievements. I love it when someone just asks me, like, what are your achievements in biking? And most of the time I just laugh and say, well, I've managed to stay alive, and there's just been a few broken bones and ligaments and tendons. So that itself is a massive achievement, especially when you're in racing and speeds are slightly higher. I think another thing that I could say is a kind of an achievement is I've probably done about 3 lakh kilometers so far in terms of, riding miles and stuff like that. And one of the most lovely things that I feel I've done in terms of achievements in riding is I was able to qualify at the Nationals and for TVS last year. So that was a wonderful thing for me. So this is something that a lot of people tell me when they meet me as a rider, and they say, oh my God, you're 47 and you're racing, and oh wow, it's so good to see, at this age, your passion for motorcycles. And so they ask me many times, what suggestions do you have for other riders? And I say yes. I get inspired by myself itself. So, at 47, I think I am India's oldest woman racer to race at the Nationals. And what I have to say to other riders, well, my usual response remains the same thing. It's safety first, all right? So there's no compromise on your gear, on the road rules, on the track rules, and there is absolutely no compromise to your life and to the life of other people and things when you're riding your motorcycle. Yes, safety. It's always about safety. I say, generally, if you want to ride, then get a bike and ride. It's as simple as that. You don't have to make too much fuss about that. Just get a bike, rent a bike, borrow the bike, do whatever you have to. Don't steal. Do whatever you have to and start riding. Because for me, I think riding is a very liberating experience. It's a sense of freedom. It's a sense of skill, discipline, and a lot of respect for your machine. Riding motorcycles, I think, gives you this beautiful balance and harmony between the rider, the machine, and the elements of nature. All three of which I love a lot. I think riding motorcycles will change you as a human being. And one thing I tell people often is the motorcycle doesn't know if it's a male or a female riding it. So if you want to ride, just get up and ride. That's it. It opens these avenues to adventure, to the outdoors. It's for me, I love being under the blue sky, and especially when the weather's, pleasant and lovely, and that breeze and that freedom, and it's just out with nature. And this is the beautiful thing about riding. But I think the best thing about riding is you get to meet some fantastic people in your life. I think bikers are a very different breed of people. And to me, I think a biker is someone who's living nirvana every single day of his or her life. A biker is just a free soul. I think apart from being a biker, I don't know what else I would do with so much of, fun and passion. And I always tell people I can give up many things in my life, but there are two things I'll never give up. They're my children and my bikes. Thanks for watching this video. God bless. And I'd like to leave you with this, just saying, ride safe, ride strong, and ride fair.